So, guys, many of you must have watched the movie Chhawa, which is based on Srimant Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and the torture at the hands of Aurangzeb, Alamgir Aurangzeb, so to say. Now, we need to understand why Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj's death was so gruesome, why Aurangzeb basically tortured him to this extent. If you have seen the movie, last 30 minutes of the movie basically are based on the way in which Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was exposed to torture. And if you specifically, since I'm from Satara and I read this Chhawa, the book based on which this movie is made, written by Shivaji Savant. So this book basically explains or describes the gruesome murder of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj in details. But taking the cinematic liberty in positive sense, Lakshman Uttekar, the director of the movie, has rightly omitted or not covered certain aspects of this barbaric act of Alamgir Aurangzeb. So we need to understand why basically after capturing Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb could have handled the prisoner in a different way. He could have negotiated. He could have treated him differently. But we need to understand what were the reasons because of which Alamgir Aurangzeb basically tortured Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj to this extent and ultimately did him after 42 days of inhuman torture. So the typical, see, basically I'm not a historian, but I tend to believe in what great historian Sir Jadunath Sarkar says about history. He says history is ingenious guesswork based on available facts. So I am not at all claiming that I'm a historian or do I know that all the facts about this. But whatever observations, whatever information that is available based on which and the observations that we can make and the analysis that we can do. So based on this analysis, we can understand why Aurangzeb treated the way he treated Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj in his last moments or last month. So for this, the context is very important. So we need to understand while Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was coronated in 1680-81 and he died in 1689 at the age of 31. In these 9 years, he has done tremendously well compared to, and he was obviously compared to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his illustrious father. Now we need to understand the context. So basically, Aurangzeb's birth year is 1618. He became Alamgir at 1658. His age was 40 years. Now, at the 40 years of age, he became Badshah Alamgir after imprisoning his father Shah Jahan and taking care of succession plan. Shah Jahan always wanted Dara Shikoh, his other son, to succeed him. But Aurangzeb basically killed all his three brothers, Dara Shikoh, Murad and Suja. And obviously imprisoned Shah Jahan, and then we know the story. So at the age of 40, in 1658, he became Alamgir Badshah. And from 1658 till 1680, he was fighting Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. The Agra escape, the great escape from Agra was 1666. That is after 8 years of Aurangzeb's ascendance to as a Badshah. So, and 1680, when Shivaji Maharaj died, Aurangzeb was 62 years of age. And after 62 years of age, he has to come to Deccan to take care of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and finish the Maratha Confederacy or Maratha Samrajya, so to say, so that the Deccan can be controlled and manipulated in whatever way he deems fit, Aurangzeb deems fit. So this was the time. Context is very important here. In 1666, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj visited Agra, Sambhaji Maharaj was with him and he was only 9 years old. So this I'm talking about these timelines because these timelines are very important when you discuss certain aspects in the coming pointers. So now the first point, why basically Aurangzeb tortured Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj in such a inhuman and horrific way. The first is basically Aurangzeb's character. He was a harsh and ruthless leader from the start. Now his governance also was harsh and ruthless. We can very easily see that if he can kill his own brothers to become a Badshah, if he can imprison his own father to become a Badshah, what will he do with the others, non-family members? Obviously, family members he will care less. Non-family members he will not at all. While the competition and the rivals obviously cannot expect any leniency from Aurangzeb. So this is very important. His ruthless and harsh governance style, and this basically not only family, but Guru Tegh Bahadur Singh also was killed in 1675 by Aurangzeb in Delhi. Then the other example can be Adil Shah and Abdul Hassan Qutub Shah. The Qutub Shah and Adil Shah where both the Badshahs from Qutub Shah and Adil Shah were imprisoned, and the Prince Akbar, who was Aurangzeb's own son. This Akbar was trying to align with Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj in 1680s. And when Aurangzeb got the beef of all these tactics, machinations by Prince Akbar to align with Sambhaji Maharaj, he basically pursued till Prince Akbar had to flee, had to leave India and take shelter in Persia, where he died after reaching Persia. So this is the way he was very ruthless and harsh in treating his members, family members, non-family members, rivals, to make sure that his ascendancy or his Alamgir designation remains intact. So he wanted a single autonomous control over everything that was under Mughal Shahi. There's one more context here. So basically, if you look at India's area, it is 37.87 lakh square kilometers. The numbers can be here and there. Please do not go by the dates and the numbers. You can always Google it. Try to understand the logic. Now, complete India's area is 32.87 lakh square kilometers, while Aurangzeb was ruling a kingdom that covered 40 lakh square kilometers, which was more than India. So, barring Kerala and all other areas which were not under dominion of Aurangzeb, he was ruling from Afghanistan to Bangladesh and most of the Indian peninsula. So, this is how big Aurangzeb was. The second point is GDP. Aurangzeb was ruling India in such a way that 25%, almost 24 point something 25% of world's GDP was governed and monitored and executed by Aurangzeb and his kingdom. To understand what we are talking about, is a very, very powerful person that even only after understanding the powerful persons and his background and his capacity and his reach, then we can understand the enormous work that was put in by Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So this is the background basically. The first and foremost is ruthless and harsh style. The second is he always felt insulted and humiliated because of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's escape from Agra in 1666, which basically meant that a small king from Deccan can come to Agra and question Aurangzeb's command by not bowing to him or by retreating from his darbar, and he can basically escape from his clutches right from the house arrest. He can escape and reach his country back. This itself was a slap on Mughal Shahi. So, and their administration, their security, complete apparatus, administration, everything was questioned because of daring escape from Agra. And while Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj commandeered this escape from Agra, Sambhaji Maharaj also was important part of this complete escape. The second, this is basically the build-up. What basically trying to understand is the point is insult and humiliation, and all this was building up. The second important point is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj worked so flawlessly that Adil Shah, Qutub Shah, Mughal Shah, they tried everything that was possible to subdue, to control, to defeat Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, but they could not. And this pressure was building up right from 1658 when Aurangzeb became Alamgir till the point Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj died in 1680. He could not. Basically, Aurangzeb could do nothing substantial against the Marathas. And even after death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in 1680, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj immediately took over and ransacked Burhanpur, for a better word. So basically, Aurangzeb could feel that from 1658, I am not able to control Marathas, I am not able to defeat them, I am not able to manipulate them, I am not able to intimidate them. So all this pressure was building up, and unfortunately, all that exploded when Aurangzeb got hold of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, when Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was arrested, was captured in Sangrameshwar. So this point is very important, and insult and humiliation basically resulted into Aurangzeb maybe doing some extra torturing because of all this pressure that was in his mind. And the important point was Aurangzeb, obviously being a ruler, Alamgir, ego also plays a very important role. That if the complete India, complete world for him, Alam, If they are going to him, and then why not Marathas doing it? And if at all, I can make an example of out of this. That also was a thought process. So this revenge for insult and humiliation and Maratha resistance was very palpable because it's very evident. Then he wanted to establish the imperial dominance of Mughal Shahi on all the factions, all the areas, including Deccan. That was also important point. Basically because of all these Maratha activities, capturing guerrilla tactics and hit and retreat, all these tactics basically they were bleeding Aurangzeb's coffers. Basically, it was a huge burden on the resources because he has to always maintain certain soldiery on the Deccan front, and because of which he could not focus on the Afghanistan and the Peshawar and the Kabul region, as well as he could not work on the expansion towards the Bangladesh and Kolkata region. So this diversion of resources, diversion of funds, also was playing an important role in what Aurangzeb was trying to do with Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. So this revenge for insult, humiliation, and all this was cooking up slowly and steadily. Aurangzeb saw that the Marathas are the biggest obstacle to his dream and his ambition. So that is how he basically treated Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj in such a gruesome manner. One of the many reasons that I could think about. The second is because of all this, because of escape from Agra. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj escaped from Agra and then Surat loot twice. Then multiple losses that Aurangzeb and his soldiers and his sardars had to face at the hands of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and then Sambhaji Maharaj. There is a deep distrust and paranoia that was developed. Aurangzeb was basically obviously distrust. He never trusted anybody. But this paranoia that Marathas can do anything and everything at any point in time. You can never judge. You can never anticipate what they are planning, what they are capable of doing. So this paranoia and distrust was also very deep. So this may have pushed Aurangzeb to take certain steps towards Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj when he was captured. This Deccan powers, basically, Aurangzeb had to overextend himself. As you know, in 1680, after the death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb basically left Agra and Delhi, his royal courts, and he was in Maharashtra. He was in Deccan for 27 years, trying to finish Maratha resistance, so to say, from their perspective. But Maratha Swarajya from our perspective. But he could not. Basically, 27 years of his prime were wasted in Maharashtra, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. And then obviously after Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj's demise, his lieutenants came to Santaji and Dhanaji and Rajaram, Chhatrapati Rajaram and Tararani. All these people basically made sure that in 1707, Aurangzeb died defeated death in Maharashtra. Basically, he could never return Agra back. So this was basically obsession with Deccan to control and manipulate and subdue. As you may be aware, after when he started the Deccan expedition in 1680, after the date of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, obviously his grip on the administration, the Indian administration, was becoming very loose because he was not present in Delhi court. He was basically traveling in Maharashtra, taking care of Marathas. So while his consultants and while his council must have counseled him, must have advised him against spending so much time in Deccan and about returning back to Delhi, he never actually accept this obsession with Deccan, obsession with controlling Deccan, obsession with winning Deccan, obsession with manipulating Deccan, obsession with insulting Deccan by completely destroying Marathas was playing a very important was playing in his brain throughout his Mughal Deccan expedition. So this was very important. The next point is basically when Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was captured. See, as we have already seen, Aurangzeb tried anything and everything that was possible, including bribery, including intimidation, including killing, including pressure, including kidnapping, including blackmailing, everything. But nothing was working against Marathas, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and Shivaji Maharaj. So he basically, after capturing Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, he tried to extract information from him about his assets, especially after Surat loot and Burhanpur's loot. They were looking for all that gold and all that ornaments and all that stones that were looted from that were ransacked from Surat and Burhanpur. Besides that, he also always thought that Marathas had a treasure hidden somewhere. So he was also looking for all that treasure, not only in terms of money, but in terms of tactics, strategies, resources, etc. He was also looking to find out who were the culprits in his own court that were supporting Sambhaji Maharaj and Marathas. All the spies and all these hidden supporters that were playing behind the shadows in Royal Mughal court also. They were also Aurangzeb's targets, because Aurangzeb must have thought that if we have Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj with us, obviously we'll get all the information necessary about whoever is supporting him from Royal Mughal court. Especially when Prince Akbar, Aurangzeb's own son, was trying to align with Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. This must have agitated him to no bounds. So this was one more point. The next point is the desire to intimidate, humiliate, and break the Maratha spirit. He must have thought that after capturing Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, nobody from the Marathas should stand up and should keep on continuing fighting against Mughal. So he wanted to make an example out of what Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was made to face. So this was to break Maratha spirit, and send a message that not only for Marathas but also all his sultanate, that anybody who stands against him will be treated in the same manner. Then the next important point can be, he must have forced Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj to convert to Islam and to join him, which I'm sure, as you all know, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj must have declined, and the way Sambhaji Maharaj must have replied to him with absolute confidence and patriotism, that also may have agitated Aurangzeb, who was used to listening to yes sir. So Alamgir, obviously, he's not habitual to listening to no, and especially when Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj gave this, must have interacted with him in full confidence and absolute patriotism. That is how exactly Aurangzeb must have agitated in person when he came face to face with Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. So this forcing conversion to Islam was thwarted, and obviously psychological warfare. He always wanted to make an example of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. So as we have seen, basically all the pressure, the flawless execution of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's tactics, all this pressure was building up, and they were not the enemies. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's enemies were never finding any fault or any inlet or anything to do that could harm Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's ambitions and agendas. So this pressure was building up. At the same time, they were getting frustrated. The rivals were getting frustrated. And when Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj took over instantly after the demise of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, then obviously these people were even more agitated and frustrated, because Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was not there, but Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj was carrying his legacy forward in even better way. So these 9 years, 1680s to 1689, were obviously building that all that pressure. And when Aurangzeb could capture Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, it must have the pressure, the frustration, and the insult and the intimidation, and everything that must have gone in Aurangzeb's head must have exploded. And basically the way Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj must have rejected all his demands and all his tactics, that must have played in Aurangzeb's mind, and that is exactly how Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj must have got tortured in a most inhuman way by Alamgir Aurangzeb, who basically ultimately had to die. Basically, he died in Maharashtra without getting back to his royal courts in Delhi. So, point here is basically Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. The timing is important. When I started, I said 1658 is when Aurangzeb was coronated. He was a Badshah. And 1658 to 1660, 1680, while Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was there, basically all his focus was on expansion. He was fighting Afghanistan, he was fighting Peshawar, Kabul, Bangladesh. Then he was trying to subdue Qutub Shahi, Adil Shahi, and Marathas, and everything. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Malwa, all those Bengal, all those areas were captured. So when at the prime of his Badshahi, his term, so to say, in 1880, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj died, his age was 62. So only thing he could have done right from Delhi, sitting in Delhi, was to expand and to grow his empire. But because of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and the way Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj created Maratha Swarajya, he had to leave Delhi and come to Maharashtra, and he had to spend 27 years, 27 years at the height, at the peak of his career, to fight against Marathas. So these were some of the aspects that were playing in his mind. Obviously, personal insult was personal humiliation was ego support, and the personal ego were very important in at the same time religious, political, strategic, tactical, social. All these aspects were playing in Aurangzeb's mind, and he just tried to make an example of the Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj. Is my honest submission, and because of which he was brutally, he was tortured in inhuman way, and even after doing all that, he failed to finish Maratha Swaraj. And as you can see, in 1707, when Aurangzeb died, it was the basically start of the decline of the Mughal Empire. And then obviously Marathas ruled the Indian continent again, right from Attock in Pakistan to Jinji in Tamil Nadu. So these were some of the aspects I thought of sharing with you, especially against the backdrop of movie Chhawa, wherein a lot of people are getting surprised, so to say, by looking at the kind of torture, the kind of inhuman treatment Aurangzeb gave to Sambhaji Maharaj. The point here is it was always there. Just some people were not aware of it. Some people were trying to hide it, etc., etc. We'll not get into politics of it. But the important point is these were some of the reasons which were, in my opinion, very important reasons behind Aurangzeb's treatment of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj and the way Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj handled himself in such a immense and such a horrendous atmosphere and situation. Thank you very much.